2001 was a big year for the Zone of the Enders series. In addition to releasing the first game on PlayStation 2, Konami teamed up with Sunrise Animation Studios to produce 2 anime tie-ins, one being a 26-episode TV series, and the other being a straight-to-DVD film or original video animation. If Sunrise sounds familiar to you, it's because they're responsible for producing famous anime series such as Cowboy Bebop, Code Geass, and of course, Gundam. However, having a well-known studio involved just wasn't enough, and both Zone of the Enders animated features have largely been forgotten. But of course, this is Mecha Mondays, so let's take a look at both, starting with the OVA Zone of the Enders 2167 Idolo. Serving as a prequel to the video game, Zone of the Enders Idolo chronicles the events leading up to the Deimos Affair, the incident responsible for setting the entire series in motion. Tensions between Earth and colonial Mars are at an all-time high, with many Martians yearning for independence. At the center of it all is Radium Levans, an LEV pilot serving in the Martian military organization Bahram. Radium's skills as a pilot are quickly recognized, and he is soon transferred to Bahram's military testing facility, along with fellow pilot and longtime friend Viola. Radium's fiancée, Dolores, is also present at the testing facility, serving as a research assistant for Dr. Rachel Lynx. Once at the facility, it is revealed that Dr. Lynx is secretly developing the world's first orbital frame, Idolo, an all-powerful mech designed to give Bahram military superiority over the Earth's UN space forces. What sets Idolo apart from the LEVs before it is its use of Metatron, an otherworldly substance with seemingly infinite power. However, this power comes at a cost, as Radium's psyche begins to rapidly deteriorate from Metatron exposure. Meanwhile, UNSF spies uncover Idolo's development and attempt to hijack it, but ultimately fail. Dolores is caught in the crossfire and killed, causing Radium to fall into a Metatron-induced rage. Against the wishes of his superiors, Radium takes Idolo and launches an attack on the UNSF. Worried that the Earth might retaliate, Bahram has no choice but to aid the UNSF in defeating Idolo before it can wreak more havoc. Radium is eventually killed in combat by the UNSF, with Viola there to witness it. 5 years later, Viola is seen piloting her own orbital frame as she approaches the Antillia space colony, thus sparking the events of the first Zone of the Enders video game. Despite it lasting under an hour, I really enjoyed this OVA. It does an excellent job at expanding the universe we only got a taste of in the first video game, and it still gives us a healthy dose of action in the process. The interplanetary struggle between Earth and Mars, in my opinion, is one of the series' highlights, and draws many parallels with Gundam's Federation vs. Zeon conflict. Aesthetically, this OVA holds up quite well, with its animation managing to capture the power and speed of the orbital frames. We also get to see plenty of the LEV mechs, which were largely absent in the first video game. In regards to the plot, Idolo is an obvious but necessary tragedy, as it gives us a better understanding of Bahram's desire for war against the UNSF. Additionally, we learn more about Viola, who serves as Leo and Jehuty's primary rival in the subsequent video game. If you've only ever played the Zone of the Enders games, I highly recommend watching Idolo, and thankfully, it's very easy to find. Although the DVD release went out of print years ago, used copies of it are very inexpensive. Case in point, I actually bought a brand new copy of Idolo on eBay for less than $10. If you'd rather not own a copy, you don't have to look too far to find it. Again, if you're a Zone of the Enders fan and you haven't seen this OVA, please do yourself a favor and check it out. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Idolo, and again, I really enjoyed this OVA. It managed to capture more in its 51-minute runtime than the first Zone of the Enders game did in 3 hours. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Mecha Mondays.